my God, it finally happened. We know what Batman versus Superman's Batsuit and Batmobile looks like. We're going to break down the image right now. Joining me is none other than IGN Movies, Jim. Hey, Jim.
How you doing, Greg?
To invoke Daniel, I am excellent. Daniel, yes! 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 Oh, I'm sorry. You know I'm a huge DC Comics fanboy. The suit looks great. The Batmobile looks great. You're a bit more grounded. What did you think of the photo?
I liked it a lot. I gotta be honest, I'm a little surprised that it wasn't as much of a radical reinvention as perhaps we have been led to believe.
Sure.
It looks in line with past Batsuits. It looks a lot like Michael Keaton's and Bale's Batsuits kind of combined. He's got the musculature of like the Keaton stuff,
sure,
but sort of that more streamlined look of the Bale suits. But I do like the very Jim Lee, Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns look. Big muscles, little ears.
Yeah, the little ears, man. That's what's getting picked apart right now on the internet. You either love it or hate it. And for me personally, like whatever, you just hit on it, right? Like being such a Jim Lee fan, I've become so used to Batman with little ones, especially in the greatest MMO of all time, DC Universe Online. Batman has little ears. So there, I'm totally down with that. What strikes me about the suit, which I really like, just from this glance, and obviously there's all these different contrast versions of it now, is it seems simple. It's, you know, I've always thought Batman is best when he's relying on simplicity, right? He's a guy who's trained to go out and fight. This suit looks like that. Do you get that impression?
Yeah, no, you definitely, they're showing off, when you do look at it in a with a higher contrast, you can see the musculature. There's even like veins and stuff like that. I don't know if the suit is supposed to just be like tights over muscles like in a comic, or did he actually sculpt himself a suit with fake veins and all that? But you know, everyone knows that Affleck has been, you know, working out like crazy for this movie. He's really jacked, but you have to wonder, you do all that work and then you put on a suit with all those fake muscles, you're like, man, come on. Like, look what I got. Look at me.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I hope that when we get to that point in the movie, they try to play it up that it is just suit or on flesh, right? And that's why there's veins. Of course, you know, the bat nipples are infamous from the Schumacher films, but the veins would make sense, and that's what I'm really looking for, because I do want that grounded Batman we see right now in DC Comics, right? Or I guess even before New 52 that we saw in the Jim Lee versions of it, where he's just out there, you know, trying to make a difference. One man, he doesn't need all these different things because he's so well trained.
Well, so many of the past Batsuits too got way too busy looking, way too kind of textured, you know. And I think there were practical reasons for that. They had allowed the actor to breathe and all that. But we've been doing now 20 years of rubber Batsuits, and I think they finally have got it down to a science now of, you know, how to make it look just right on camera, how to have the guy turn his head.
That's the big question, right? From this one, we don't. I mean, I assume they're all hip to the game now that we know that Batman can't turn his head, and that's stupid. So you hope from what we see now is Affleck will have full range of motion.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, why would you want to go back to the even to Batman Begins, where he had that, you know, the basically the vice around his neck. Dark Knight and Dark Knight Returns solved that by making it two separate pieces. It does, when you look at the suit, it does look like it's all kind of one piece, but maybe it's a little misleading in terms of what the cowl is made out of. Now, you know? Yeah,
exactly. I'm with you on that. Next big question for you is, what's your take on the symbol? Again, when we take some of the, you know, darkness out of it, you get that high contrast. You see that it's a sizable bat symbol, again with little ears.
Well, you know, it doesn't bother me. He really wants people to know he's Batman. Don't mistake me for... I'm not Catman. I'm not the other guy with the small ears. I'm Batman.
Yeah.
You know, if you know, look, he's compensating for something. Clearly, he's being judged by the size of his bat ears. He's like, all right, I'll make up for it by having a giant bat symbol. Or maybe they're going to actually use the line from Dark Knight Returns of, you know, he has a symbol in his chest, so nobody aims at his head.
Sure, good point. For me, just from this first glance, first blush, totally dig the symbol. It looks different. That's what we're talking about. And it's how many times can you reinvent the same thing, but it looks different.
It does, and it's also, you know, it gives us an idea, I guess, of what our final official logo will look like. I also think it was interesting that you released the photo in all gray. Yeah. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Arkham games, like some of the art that has come out in the past, where it's kind of like that washed out gray look. I wonder if that was what they were going for there, or if that just happened to be something that guys like us would catch on to.
Well, for me, I mean, just this one image, right, really changes the tone of what you're expecting from that movie, or what the narrative, I guess, has been so far, right? Because Man of Steel was a colorful movie. There was a lot of stuff going on, but you introduced Batman, a much darker element, and here you go. This is your first look at it.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised overall at the fact of how familiar the whole thing looked. Even the Batmobile looks kind of more like the old Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batmobile.
That's what I thought too.
It's cool. I mean, I'm not upset by it. The fins kind of remind me a bit of the Schumacher Batmobiles, but the front of the car and the sort of the canopy of it look like the Burton one.
Yeah, it looks like
I'm happy with that.
It's an interesting merger of the two, because when I look at the front of the car head on, it definitely gives off the Tim Burton look, but then the back of it reminded me, especially when yesterday's photo, which had a giant tarp over it, which actually made it look compact. The fins, I believe, from what I'm guessing, are how Batman gets in and out of it. It looks like those things fold up and he gets in and out. I suspect. I don't know. But the fin on the back looked a lot like the Batman Forever one.
It did, actually, and then the tires are sort of like tumbler size.
Yeah.
But the tires in the old Burton one were pretty big too. What do you think of the fact that they are kind of harkening back to the Burton era more than like the Nolan stuff, the stuff that younger viewers grew up with?
Well, it's hard to say right now with just these first glances, but I think it's one of those everything old is new again, right? Like, we've seen the giant, beefy Batmobile, and we've seen the bat suit that has, like, the mesh that, couldn't stop a knife for necessarily, but this is, I'd rather it look different. I think DC has to make the point that this is a different Batman, right? This isn't the same universe, and they have to make that point loud and clear.
Yeah. What do you think of overall, though, of what you've seen so far from Batman versus Superman? Are you psyched for this movie more now after this?
Of course. I can't stop. And it's one of the, I had my problems with Man of Steel. I liked it overall. I wasn't in love with it. I didn't hate it. I was somewhere in the middle of all that. And I'm ready to be super excited about this. And it's something where we have the character, he's established, he's Superman. How do the events of Man of Steel and maybe his shortcomings in that movie, how does that play to Batman, this guy who's been doing the hero game for a while? What does he think of this alien on Earth now who he doesn't understand? You know what I mean? There's some interesting context and subtext there that I really hope they explore in this story. Do you think we're going to get some of that?
I think we will. I think Batman is going to say, hey, you know what, Superman? You know what you don't have and I do? My own action figure.
Whoa!
And doesn't the Jim Lee Batman action figure, doesn't this look like Affleck?
Yeah, oh yeah, spot on.
Yeah? How about me? Do I look like Affleck? No, nothing?
Maybe an older Edward Nygma. All right, so Jim, you're the movie expert. When do we see more? When do we hear? When will we know more about Batman vs. Superman?
I wouldn't be surprised if another shoe drops this week, even with perhaps Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. I wonder. Yeah, I mean, think about it. If we're doing this pretty early now after this photo was revealed, so haven't quite gauged the full reaction from fans yet. If it's mixed, maybe they'll go right to Gal Gadot to try and get everyone on board.
Sure.
But I don't know. I have a feeling now it's going to start filming in Detroit. And I think they're gonna borrow more and more from the Marvel playbook and just not keep everything as close to the best as Nolan did.
All right. Final question for you, Jim. Will we see a Batman Superman Comic-Con panel? Will we have something there?
Well, we have next year's Comic-Con too, but because remember, this doesn't come out until May 6, 2016.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me, Jim. Just don't make me keep waiting.
I think we will. I think we'll have a little something this year, and then probably for Batman, Superman, and then maybe next year's will be Justice League.
Wow. All my dreams are coming true,
This is the era we live in, Greg.
I love to be alive. Thank you so much for your time, Jim.
Thanks, Greg.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of the Batmobile and the new Bat suit? Let us know in the comments. Then make sure you share this video with your friends. And for everything about Batman vs. Superman, keep it here on IGN.